Hello and welcome to Chapter 13 of the recap and analysis video of the FF7 Remake in comparison to the original game. The chapter opens up on a somber note as the plate has been destroyed and the slums lie in a pile of rubble. This is the focus of the chapter as the team hopes to regroup from the tragedy that surrounds them. To start off, they want to find Marlene, which means heading up all the way back to Aerith's house from Sector 6.
Hey! Anybody out there?
Barrett! I think I hear him up ahead.
Hey! Can anybody hear me?
Here goes.
And push!
Marlene. Marlene. Marlene! Marlene! Biggs! Wedge! Jesse! God damn it! God damn you! God damn you all! Marlene. Marlene.
It was us. We did this.
No. You can't think like that. Whatever came before it was Shinra that pulled the trigger today. Am I right?
Yeah.
Hold on to this anger, okay?
Barrett. Marlene's fine.
Huh?
Aerith found her.
Aerith. Is that the girl they took?
Yeah. That's her.
The hell's going on?
I asked Aerith to find Marlene and take her somewhere safe.
And she did? You sure? Hey, where you going?
After a long trek back, they are relieved to find that Marlene is safe and sound, but get confirmation that Aerith is in the hands of Shinra. Aerith's mom gives some more background onto why she is wanted and how her story came to be.
Well, a great deal. Yes, Aerith is an ancient. Probably the last one living. She's not my daughter. Not by blood, I mean. If that's what you were wondering. About 15 years ago. My husband, he'd been shipped off to fight on the front lines. But then I received a letter saying he'd be home for a bit. So when the day came, I went to the station to meet him. But he didn't come. I couldn't help fearing the worst, even then. But I told myself his leave must have been postponed, that he'd been delayed. Every day I went, to wait and to pray. And that's how I met her and her mother. I thought maybe they'd run away from Wall Market, or that they were topsiders fallen on hard times. I'd seen that sort of thing a lot. Take Aerith somewhere safe. Those were her mother's dying words. My husband had been away for so long, and I was lonely. So I convinced myself the safest place for the girl was with me. It took no time at all for her to start feeling like family. She was a real chatterbox. She told me strange stories, like how she and her mother had escaped from some sort of facility, and how she wasn't sad because her mother had just returned to their planet.
Their planet, huh? Yeah, that sounds about right.
I didn't understand any of it at the time. When I asked if she meant one in the sky, she said no, this one, right here. I mean, what can you say to that?
Mommy, don't be sad.
That's what she said to me one day, out of the blue. So I asked her, what's wrong?
A man you really, really loved just died. His heart came a long way to say goodbye. But he couldn't stay because he had to return to the planet.
I didn't believe her, of course. And then, a few days later, I received a letter saying my husband had been killed in action. Things like that, she'd just know. It was a lot to deal with, but we were happy. And then came the knock.
Coming! No! Go away!
Aerith, you know you're not just any little girl. You're a descendant of the ancients.
I had no idea what he meant, so I said, "Who are the ancients?"
They were the original stewards of the planet, whose boundless knowledge and wisdom shall guide us to the promised land. Some believe the promised land to be a myth, others an allegory of sorts. But we take the words of the scriptures at face value and believe it to be quite real. Which is why Shinra would like very much for Aerith to help us—
You're wrong! I'm not an ancient!
But Aerith, even when you're all alone, don't you hear voices whispering secrets?
No, never!
But all three of us knew that wasn't true. That man knew exactly who Aerith was, where she'd come from, and what she could do.
They knew where she was, but they didn't just take her? Doesn't sound like the Turks I know.
She had to come willingly, otherwise it wouldn't work, they said. That's why, even if they did take her away, I'm sure she's still being treated like a guest. And that they'll send her straight back home, once they get what they need.
I doubt it.
You're not planning anything, are you? Don't make things worse than they already are. If I lost her too, I don't know if I could ever. Just don't.
Cloud, maybe she's right about this. Maybe they'll let Aerith go when it's all over. Maybe we'd be better off waiting a little while.
Let's head back to Sector 7. Got things to take care of.
Scenes like this are one of the many reasons why the original game was so good. We have a side character, Elmira, who is not even playable, but we dive into her past and learn how she became a widow due to a war. She sees a mother die right in front of her and agrees to take in her child and adopt her. And they don't just throw in this sequence for no reason, as it managed to have great relevance to Aerith's mysterious ability as an ancient, and how and why Shinra is interested in her to begin with. I'm really glad that the remake kept this sequence in and gave it even some more depth. The rest of this chapter is spent with Avalanche helping people and fighting enemies as they head back to Sector 7. There's not any notable content worth showing during this time, as it is a lot of grinding and revisiting of areas that we've been through before. The chapter in the remake for this one does have some original content to it, though. They discover an underground Shinra lab, and in the process they encounter a mysterious enemy that becomes a boss. Tifa and Barrett are forced to confront it, and then after they are able to defeat the mysterious creature, Cloud comes in to help finish it off, and they rescue Wedge. And this is pretty much how Chapter 13 comes to an end. I hope you enjoyed this recap of Chapter 13, and next up is Chapter 14.
Hell yeah! So how'd you manage to track us down?
Followed the trail of bullet holes. There's nobody else I know who did that kind of mess.